Now we're gonna get right here. Next weekend, what a swing of weather. From furnace to air conditioner in 1 week.
Yeah.
Like living back in the Midwest, in Nebraska, when I lived there, just this light swing. Not quite as extreme, but just enough to not allow you to acclimatize, so you're not quite comfortable with the heat or the cold, but it's all good. I love the rain that waters the grass, saves some water bill, keep my yard green a little bit longer, so there's a blessing right there. And then the sun will come out and be able to go enjoy the green grass. Or it dries out later on. Wait, how about let's get started with the joke master today? Our joke master, James, you have a joke for us today you'd like to share?
I believe I do, Toastmaster. He'll come on up. Ask for forgiveness on this one. This is a joke I'm trying to recall from 40 plus years ago. So we'll see how it goes.
Wow.
But a little story about Tony and Joe. Tony and Joe were two kids that grew up in a little town together, went to church together, did that sort of thing. But what they really did together was play baseball. Starting in Pee Wee, Little League, making the JV team, making the varsity team. Actually made it all the way up into like minor league, but professional baseball. But one of the things that they talked about in addition to baseball was church and life after death and that sort of thing. And they'd spend their time imagining what it must be like to play baseball in heaven. So they made a pact that between the two of them, whoever passed first would come back after death to tell them what baseball was like. Lo and behold, Tony passed away. And a few weeks after the service, he's sitting there and he sees Joe, has a vision of Joe. Tony, I came back to tell you about baseball in heaven. Tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. Well, let me tell you, the stands are amazing. Every game is sold out. Never a rain delay. It's perfect. But I got a bit of bad news for you. Bad news? What's the bad news? It seems amazing. I checked the roster. You're pitching on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
That's what baseball did.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming. Nice. All right. Next, I'd like to ask for the roles to share what they're doing today. And first, I'd like to call on the table topics master, who's Brandy today. You mind explaining the little table topics master?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our honored guest today. As the table topics master, I ask you to respond to a question for 1 to 2 minutes. What we usually say is talk to the green, because you get the green card when you meet your minimum time, which our timer will talk about here in a few minutes. But it's 1 to 2 minutes of extemporaneous speaking, off the cuff speaking. You often don't even know what the question is going to be. Although today, if we have time, what I want to talk about is our evaluation workshop that we had last week and what people thought about it. And if they had questions, if they just wanted to give comments, that type of thing. So with that, I will hand it back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to move on to our grammarian, Kathy, today.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I think, maybe. And I want to give the word of the day. The word of the day is, I'll do it again, ubiquitous. It's spelled ubiquitous, which the definition is existing or being everywhere, especially at the same time, like omnipresent. Ubiquitous fog, as an example, ubiquitous fog, ubiquitous little ants. Today I am being ubiquitous. I am there and I am here. I'm everywhere. And I also provide good word usage by taking good notes, as well as words that detract, such as and, or, but, so thank you.
Next, I'd like to call on the timer, who's Tori today. Can you be ubiquitous with that?
Well, I was gonna say the timer's role is a bit ubiquitous throughout the meeting, but we have 2 speeches today and table topics was discussed, but you have 1 to 2 minutes for table topics, and halfway between that 1 to 2 minutes, you'll get a yellow, and the rest are pretty obvious. Same with the speeches, 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, you're gonna get the green. At 6, the yellow, and 7, the red. So, all that's the role. Thank you.
The last role is going to be filled by me as a general evaluator. And as general evaluator, I will evaluate all the other roles and how the meeting went, if we were on time, if there are any problems or suggestions to go over. And then I'll call up for the reports at the end of the meeting, the timer reports, grammarian report at the very end. So with that, I'd like to move on to call up our first evaluator, Rachel.
I'm having a wardrobe malfunction. Please hold. Okay. Thank you. Okay, our first speaker of today is going to be Kim. And the title of his speech is Club. I'm just reading this. This will be a good one. Club website, a show and tell about our club website and several features. Everyone, please welcome Kim.
I'm gonna move over there. Somebody help move the mic over there to the front. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
that
gonna,
way.
I'm gonna show side here.
Perfect.
That way, Kathy. is obviously here.
In here.
Mm.
Thanks for showing us this stuff. Thank you. I'm excited.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kim. I am here today to share a little bit about our club website. For those of us who have been here with us for a while as members, this probably looks really normal to you because it's something you're used to. But for our new members, which we have a couple out there today, this is actually our club website. Now, to get access to our club website, when you join as a member, normally the VP of membership will actually send out an email invite as an opt-in, and you get an email and then you accept that, and then you'll get a login for this website. The reason you want to log in this website is because it has multiple features and tools to help us as a club grow and also to share. And it is something that we all, there's a role, an officer role, like VP of PR, for example, would take care of this website and make sure it looks pretty, make sure it's marketable, and make sure it's available for people to access. Now, one of the things I look at when I log in here, as you can see, actually, let me go back here. For those new folks there, you can't really see on the screen here, but the club website is our, I was going to show you the URL there, but it's really small on that screen, so I won't really show you that. There is when you log in as guest, this is what you get to see. So anybody could actually access the website as a guest, and that's how Google search will actually find us and they'll read about us. So one thing that I invite everyone to do as a member, once you're in here, is we have information that provides for guests to do. So one of the things that we do as a club is provide a Zoom link for our guests to join, or even our members to join when they can't make it on site. So Kathy, for example, is a member, she can't make it. And so this actually becomes a worldwide connecting tool for us. So that's there. The second that I wanted to share with folks is that there is a member login. When you log in with your information, oh, that's not the login that I want. This blocks me out as I'm doing a demo. When you have a login to our website as a member, you get more options. One of the things that it tells me here on the left-hand side, which helps me and other people keep track of each other, is I can see actually who logs in and use our website. So I can see here that I just logged in right now. Rachel logged in 3 hours ago, and the rest are folks that took longer. Now that just tells me if members are actually making use of our website or not to do to actually look at and sign up for agendas. One of the things that we use our website for is actually going and using meeting agendas. Now, this is really, really great as a tool because we have roles that we have to fill every week. We saw it this morning that we needed to be full. So what I encourage members to do is that if you don't choose a role at the end of the meeting when asked for, I encourage you to log into the website and actually use this tool and put yourself in a role that you want to select, even if you don't think that you're going to be here or not. Because the reason for that is that it's really helpful for the Toastmaster, who I can see there is Justin, he's just happened to be Toastmaster today. But even for a Toastmaster, Justin actually helps us by printing out the agenda practically before every morning, and that's great. But also when he prints it out, it'll have at least a recent list as of 3 hours ago of who selected the roles for the meeting today. It helps tremendously the overall flow. As you can see there for today's agenda, I'm the first speaker up here for that. And then there's certain notes that you can have as well. But this is really, I think, a helpful tool that we can use as a club moving forward that will just help streamline how a meeting starts going. The other thing, the secondary thing, and the final thing I'd like to share about the tools that I think would be really helpful for a club as well is actually on the left-hand side after you log in, it's a place that says edit your profile. Essentially, like what it sounds like, this is where you edit all the information that you need to be able to tell us about yourself. This is really helpful for members to get to know you, but especially for guests, because guests actually has access to these information. When they log in, they're looking around, they want to make sure at least accurate. Oh, there's real people there. They have their face, their bio. It tells them about our club a little bit more. And then hopefully we'll encourage them to come visit us and also be on site or even over Zoom. And it shows that we're more of an active club that way. So with that, that's the three things I actually just shared about a club. There's so much more, and I encourage you all to actually look around, peruse, and actually see what other things you can use with the club site to at least be to help streamline how we are actually moving the club and how we're representing the club at the digital level, and also to help us as a team, as a club, be more cohesive when we start in new meetings. With that, I turn it back to you, Mr. Toastmasters. Thank you.
Table.
Oh, Mike.
Again, we got turned off.
But at least we'll have an agenda. I figure at least with that. 'Cause sometimes later on I get busy and I'm rushing to get here. Let's definitely print it earlier than later Thursday. Next, I'd like to call up our next evaluator. Brandy.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests today. I have the pleasure to introduce Teresa Staal-Cowley, who will be giving us a speech today titled Getting to the root of the problem. Teresa. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, honored guests, and thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. So getting to the root of the problem, I brought my garden to you today. I will demonstrate with two of my jasmine vines. I have been told often that I'm an out-of-box person. I'm very ubiquitous. I'm an artist, I'm a calligrapher, I'm a gardener, and I would be in situations raising 4 children. And the teachers would come to me and say, "Oh, I have this child. I don't know what to do with this child. Can you just do whatever you do and just help them, be in the corner?" And I would work with those children. Then after that, now my children are fully grown, but I've been face painting and teaching Sunday school and vacation Bible school, doing lots of projects as a volunteer mom in the classroom. And then I was asked by the judges in this county to be a court-appointed special advocate, to advocate for kids in the courtroom that are in foster care. And I said, only if I could do artwork and face paint the children. And they approved it. So I did that for a little over 13 years. But when I moved to the area, I also wanted to say that I've been a gardener all my life. And I learned all my gardening skills from my grandmothers and my Nana and grandpa. And they immigrated from Denmark and Germany and Ireland. So they brought gardening skills that are old fashioned gardening skills. And I've applied those principles. But then when I moved to Olympia, I became a master gardener. I got involved in the Native Plant Society, the Thurston County Conservation Corps. I've done all these nature walks, plant identification walks, gone on, stream team restoration, pulling up invasive plants and introducing plants. So I have all this knowledge. And when you have all this knowledge, you're taught things such as when you buy a plant, oftentimes the plants in the pot can be root bound. So you have to be gentle, but you have to really soften that root and then get it into the ground. But I had these two jasmines, and I thought it was one. I bought one jasmine plant thinking I'll buy a second one, but I have to prepare my garden for the one. Put it in the ground. I softened it like I was taught, fertilize, water, everything. It was wilting. And it had all these different symptoms of various things. And so I thought, well, I'll do this baking soda vinegar solution. Well, no, now I'm going to introduce, lemon. And my vine was dying. And I thought, okay, I'm going to pull it up, soften the roots again, put it in a pot with specialized soil. Still dying. I thought, okay, something's wrong here. So I pull it out of the pot, put all this new soil in my wheelbarrow, and I thought, the plant's dying. I have a 50-50 chance I could help the plant. And I just worked that plant, worked that plant, worked that plant. And that root ball was literally like a brick of cement. No matter how much water I put with it, no matter how much I tried to break it up, fertilizer, it was dry as a bone. And so I thought something, and I just kept working it and working it and working it. And then I discovered there were these little rubber bands all along the base and the trunk of the vine that was camouflaged right into the bark. So I took all the rubber bands out, working it, working it, working it. And then all of a sudden it split. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I have two jasmine vines. And what they were doing is that they were competing with one another and it was killing each other. So sometimes in life, we have marriages that fail, businesses that fail, organizations that fail, and you think, what is going on?
But when there's too much competition, then it kills the organization or the relationship. One of the things I loved about the evaluation last week, he was teaching us not only about evaluating the speaker, but evaluating ourselves when we are evaluating. And I thought, wow, that is something like getting to the root of the problem to help us to be a better evaluator. And I thought to apply that from the evaluation next week to solve my problem with my vines. So what I did is I just planted them in 2 pots because they've gone through a lot of trauma and I need to have them in the 2 pots for a little while. And once they get a little bit better and healthier, I'm going to put them in the ground. But the roots are now very soft and it hasn't been quite a week, but it's a little bit like they're in the hospital right now. So they're getting all these nutrients and good soil and good fertilizer, proper sun. And I'm going to experiment and put them in different pots in the different areas in my garden where they're happiest. And then where it's happiest, then I'm going to plant it. So I had to get to the root of the problem to solve the problem. And that's what I've done in many instances when I would be asked, well, we tried this, we tried this, we tried this, all the right tools, nothing's working. We still have this problem. And then I would be invited to just do my ubiquitous, out of the box problem solving skills and try to solve the problem. So thank you, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and Mr. Toastmaster.
Oh, thank you. It's a great demonstration, great explanation. And way to be diligent and dedicated to work on those plans. I would have thrown them out like right away. I think if this is dead, I'm done. Man, way to be tenacious with those plans. Nice. And they look great. They don't even look bad to me. I'm trained out. Nice job. All right, next, I'd like to move on to the table topics. Looks like we have a few minutes.
In a couple minutes?
Yeah,
All right.
4 minutes.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. You brought us right into table topics because you talked about our evaluation workshop last week and something that you took home, which I believe Kyle Hall said was observe the observer, right? That's like notice your reaction
Right,
as you're watching a speaker speaking
right.
and how you feel.
Right.
It's very, very interesting. And most of us were there. So I think most of us, well, any of us can join in table topics, but is there anybody here that would like to share their thoughts on the extraordinary evaluation workshop that we had last week? Anybody on Zoom? Anybody in the room? Impressions as the test speaker? Rachel was our test speaker.
I thought it was a very, very valuable meeting. I learned a lot. He gave us framework, which I am going to use here in a minute.
Nice.
But that's I would have liked for it to have been even longer. With the evaluator. When people were doing that, like kind of the meta view of that,
Yeah.
I observed that they were doing what he asked us not to do, which is he asked us not to repeat somebody's speech as an example, right? So I noticed a lot of people were like, you said that, that's really great. I'm like, okay, that's not helping the evaluator be a better evaluator. Funny, like,
Yeah.
you keep stepping back at levels. It was great, actually. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great for the club and everybody who's there.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else want to share their thoughts? I could share something that was valuable to me. And that was, he talked about what the general evaluator's role is. And I should have brought, oh, you've got it. He gave us a handout. I'll just take a look at that. Kyle gave us a handout on what the general evaluator should be doing. It's on one of the pages. I just thought that was extremely helpful. It was on page 5. We'll make sure everybody has a copy of this especially because I know Tori and James, you weren't able to make it. And of course, our guest wasn't there because you probably didn't know that we were having that workshop. But they talked about like, yeah, what you do and don't do as general evaluator. So don't evaluate the speakers, evaluate the evaluators. And then you don't have to evaluate the table topics. There's just this whole kind of explanation of what the general evaluator does. I just thought that was extremely helpful to me. And I do look forward to applying that to the general evaluator. And I spoke to the green. So I'm going to stop it there and ask anyone else if they have something that they'd like to share. Kim.
Ready?
So get on up there.
I'll
Yeah.
go.
Come on.
Okay,
Good
let
luck,
me get a
Kim.
proper table topic. I really thought that the evaluation workshop was actually really helpful to me as well. There was a framework that he handed out, and he started his stories, and it was really inviting the way that he approached it. My initial thought was, what is this person gonna tell me? Things like that. And it was really a big ubiquitous, out of the box type things, but at the same time, there's a good framework that aligned to do's and don'ts. One thing I got out of it was actually the method. I have heard Kathy use this a lot, the sandwich method. And for the longest time, I keep on forgetting to ask Kathy, I'm like, what is that? Well, actually, Kyle actually explained to me what the sandwich method was, which is give a couple of good feedback and then sandwich in one or two things they could work on, and then wrap it up, finish it up with the greatest thing or what impacted you the most. And that will hit home with the people who are you evaluating or the speaker that you evaluate. So I thought it was really great. Liked it. And I hope maybe next time we might actually, whoever's doing a project for that would invite him to come to do another one, maybe longer, because it sounded like it's fruitful. An hour and a half at nighttime was probably just because of nighttime, but yeah, invite him along again. So that's what I wanted to share about the workshop itself. Back to you, Madam Tabletop.
Thank you, Kim. Oh, Teresa, do we have time for one more?
I don't think we do.
We don't have time for one more. Well, we'll be talking about this more. So just consider this a part one. But I did one question I did want to ask really quick was, Robin, did we recorded the evaluation workshop? So maybe
Yes, we did, and it turned out to be a bad recording because we didn't take it off of gallery view. And so Kyle has actually said that he is really bummed because he has never gotten a good recording of the whole thing. So maybe he would be up for coming and doing it again.
Okay, well, we'll go with that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Blame
tabletop.
that on
Randy.
Mikey. He's a Zoom master.
Mike, not us.
Next, I'd like to call up evaluator Rachel.
Okay. I'm here to evaluate Kim, but he did an excellent job on his speech, a much needed speech about our club website. So I will say that can you not hear?
Oh.
Can you still not hear?
Okay. Oh.
Can you not hear? A little
Just-
bit?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, what worked for me was I thought it was an excellent topic. I haven't poked around on the website too much, so it was I thought for all of us, this is a great topic. I thought also what worked for me is you took us through how to log in and you pointed out what was on the page, took a step by step. Excellent job. What might have worked better for me in this presentation is, even though I was sitting there, it was a little bit difficult to read, to see what was on the page, and that might not necessarily have been, I didn't need to read everything on the page because you were pointing it out. But that's somewhat maybe of a limitation of the way we present. But I know that you can zoom in the actual web page. That might just make it just slightly larger so that we can see that it goes hard for me to even read login. So that's my really that's the only thing I had as far as what would have worked better for me. I thought it was an excellent speech, and I think your closing about the action item was really a strong point that we should all go in, update our, profiles, and you gave a summary of why that's important. I thought that was a really strong close. And I hear you. I was listening to that, and I will do that. That's all I got.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call up the next evaluator, Brandy.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, our honored guest today, and certainly most of all, Teresa. Getting to the root of the problem. I saw the plants. I saw the title. I was like, oh, we're going to talk about planting. I love gardening too. So I was really excited for your speech today. And I appreciated how you talked about being a master gardener and your Native Plant Society work and just giving us a little bit of background on who you are and why you're interested in this. I'm going to give you some feedback today on what I thought you did good, what I thought you could do better, and then I'm going to end with what I thought you did best. So in terms of what you did good, so much. You are a very advanced speaker. You're very comfortable up here. You have a good volume. You have good eye contact. You had a really great analogy about the competition, which I thought was really cool. It was a good visual for me when you talked about the roots being bound and how they were competing with each other and how we do that in like when we're in groups or with people. And I thought that was a good way to remember that part of the story. And of course, props. Props are always really great in any speech because they allow us to make connections with what's being said to something visual. It's how our brains work, which with all the work that you've done in the past. And it was cool how you brought in some of what we learned in the evaluation workshop into your speech today. Some things that you could work on to make this speech bring it to the next level. One is when you come up here, you never have to thank the audience. We are going to thank you. This is only something that I really learned in Toastmasters. When you're giving a speech, when you come up, you never say thank you in a speech. And I don't know, I do it all the time, especially when I get nervous. But that's something that you don't have to do. You said ubiquitous, not ubiquitous.
Okay.
I only picked that up because it was the word of the day. And then at the end of your speech, was there a call to action? I wasn't quite sure if there was something, a take-home message for us, something that we needed to consider in our lives. A call to action always makes a speech more powerful. But in the end, again, very advanced speaker. I think your strength as a speaker is you are a great storyteller. As soon as you start talking, I'm hooked. I'm listening. I want to know what you have to say. It's just your personality, your invitation, and just the way you visualize and tell stories. So excellent job. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to our Toastmaster today. He's also our GE.
All right. Thanks. Well, I'm gonna see how much time I got. We have enough time for before Kathy has to leave, right? Nice. Okay. So I will give my report real quick on my comments of the meeting. It's kind of a tiff one because I should get the reports, but then I'm not timed on my evaluation. But
You can still be timed on your evaluation.
I could. Okay, I'll call the reports first. I would like to call on the timer first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was aimed at you, Tori.
Was it?
Yeah.
You want me to come up? Okay.
So you can't time me and give a report.
No,
at
time
the
the
same time.
report's done. I won't be able to time. Thank you. Everybody did really great today, but staying within time, kind of towards the early part of the time. I think there was a little confusion with the table topics. Because we didn't, I was like, when do I start this or whatever? So you were like right around the minute mark or whatever. But Kim, excellent job, 6 minutes and 7 seconds on your speech. Teresa, 6 minutes, 25 seconds. Rachel, I had you at 53 seconds on the table topics. Brandy, when you went a minute 8, spoke to the green, good job. Kim, minute 35. And as far as evaluations, Rachel, 2 minutes, 7 seconds, right in there. Brandy, you were at 3 minutes. Exactly. So great job. And we don't know about Justin yet, so come on back up here. Master, thank you.
All right, thank you for that good timers report, Tori. Next, I'd like to call on the grammarian report. Kathy.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. The report is as follows. James, good word usage, vision, life after death, never a rain delay, pitching or something like that. I didn't quite write the punchline the right way. And one word that distracted. So, okay. Next is Brandy. Lots of great word usage, call to action, invitation, connections, props, great, evaluation workshop, advanced speaker, great storyteller, extraordinary test, analogy of bound roots, words that detract twice and 4 times, so once. Good job. Justin, good word usage, delight and tenacious. 2 words of the day. Oh, wait, did Brandy have a word of the day? Yes, you did. Sorry, I skipped that, Brandy. You had almost like 2 words of the day. I'll give you 2 because you were kind of, yeah. And then Justin had 2 words of the day, and you had 2 words that detract and 3 times, so once. Good job. Corey didn't speak a lot, but you got 1 good word usage. Great day or great today or something like that. And words that, oh, you have word of the day once, and you have 3 words that detract. Twice, 6 times, so 3 times. Rachel has good word usage, evaluate the evaluator. And it started low, so I didn't hear everything, but other words that were great were valuable, framework, great, excellent in regards to the evaluation workshop. Words that detract, once, twice, and twice. Very good. Kim, lots of good word usage. And I felt convicted on that website when I saw my number of days. Just saying. Uh, okay.
Was it my
Okay.
idea?
And let's see, Kim, you had a word of the day. You have, let's see, access, grow, worldwide. I think it's a stage. Connecting, connecting something, like connecting tool, connecting membership tool, encourage, help tremendously, help streamline, club digital level, at a digital level, helpful framework, inviting, sandwich method. Again, 1 word of the day. Words that detract were a couple of double word usages. I didn't get the exact word. And 6 times, twice. So 5 times, like twice. Very good. Let's see, who is next? Teresa Staal-Cowley. You have lots. You have a page full, just so you know. Good word usage. Your whole speech was colorful. Words that were great. Apply principles, specialized, soil, master gardener, conservation, restoration, evasive plants, root bound, root ball, dry as a bone, competing with one another. Too much competition kills organization. And how you related that, you said tenacious relationship. No, I can't read my writing. Evaluate self and speaker solved problems, good soil, nutrients, fertilizer, happiest. And then something about tools. Sorry about that. Words of the day, I gave you two, even though technically it was a little variation. Words that detract and three times, you know, three times, so three times. And Robin, one word, bummed. That's all I got. That's all I got. Thank you all. Thank you
right.
all.
Thank you for that very thorough report. Next, I'll move on to my role as the general evaluator. We had a great meeting today. We got everything set up. Plenty of help to do that. The tables got set up, the technology got set up. We did start a little late today, struggling to fill the roles, but we did get everything filled, thankfully. We had a great joke master from James Brown. His name's for real. I just shared him with our guest Brianne. It's real. And the story pulled us in and we all got a good laugh. So very nice. Next, I'll move on to what do I have on my notes here? Though, as far as I wanted to add to Kim's speech, only that the podium was blocking my view. So I just wanted to add that real quick. That might help for me anyway. I couldn't see. I'm not sure on this side if you guys. Anyway, so that was a little bit of feedback there. Table topics was good. It was engaging the audience, relatable, applied to something that we did. I will agree with Tori that it was a little unclear the format initially on if it was a speech, and so it was a little bit of the format was difficult to follow, but it came together. I think we all got a lot out of it, so that was nice. A couple of people had the opportunity to speak. Let's see, Rachel. Good evaluation. You shared what you liked. You gave them some good feedback. Something I did notice is you were a little quiet as she couldn't hear. It was almost a little somber. But you did give him some good advice and things that you liked and things that would help you. So that was nice. Brandy, you were very enthusiastic. You gave her some good feedback, what you liked, great evaluation. You gave her feedback that was helpful so she can use to improve. The only one feedback I might offer is you did call to action. You weren't sure about that. So I don't know if it was helpful to mention that if you weren't sure if she did or not. Because then we're just left to learn. And even I was wondering, did she? I don't remember. But it is good to mention the call to action. So that was all good. And we had a great timers report. Nice job, Tori. Very thorough. You're precise. And I don't know where I'm at on time. But
His time is over.
Nice
He
job.
doesn't need to time you anymore. You already called it.
And great meeting, everybody. It was a good job. Everybody pulled together, liked the speeches. I liked the evaluation. I think we all enjoyed the feedback that we received and very beneficial. And we have a guest today, Brianne. Welcome. How did you find out about us?
I knew about you guys a couple of years ago, and I think communication is like a effective tool that I could sharpen up on, and it helps with all situations. Everybody could be a better communicator, I guess, in life. So I thought it'd be good to join. My mother actually suggested it to me, so I thought I'd give it a try.
Oh, good. Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. What did you think of the meeting?
It was actually pretty nice. I liked hearing people's speeches. It was great hearing how people break down what's needed in a speech, what's not, and how to be a better speaker, I guess.
It is good. And we're all learning.
Mm-hmm.
We just had evaluation conference. What was it called? A workshop.
Yeah.
And I was trying to follow that as well with mine today. So think a little bit, slow down, process. But that's okay. We're all here to learn. It doesn't have to always flow fluid if we take some time. We're all here to learn and develop. So I just encourage anybody to take the role, step up, even if you don't feel ready, because are we really ever ready? We're not as ready as we'd like to be. So Well, thanks for being here today. It was great having you.
Right, thanks for having me. Thanks.
And with that, that's all I had. Any news or anything people want to talk about today, or
Turn it over to the president.
the president?
I would,
President.
I would like to say a little something because I just checked on our distinguished club report, and it looks like we have achieved the first level of distinguished, which means we have met our one of the biggest things is the attendance, so that we have so many new members has pushed us into our that we have now made been able to make the first level of distinguished. So that is super exciting. The club is getting healthier and more people. So absolutely loving that. We actually have room for, if we get one more level 3 award, then we would get another one. And I want to encourage anybody who has a level to finish up before the end of the year to go ahead and get that in and let me or one of the other officers know so that we can approve that.